Any questions on the first two? All right, for number 3, you had to do, you have to find an angle there. All right, so you would do your normal thing where you say sine of x over the opposite side is equal to sine of 52 over 68. All right, then you move the 71 over and you get that value. All right, and then because sine is positive in quadrants 1 and 2, we need to check for both of those quadrant solutions. All right, so that would be the quadrant 1 solution. Now, guys, if you are finding the quadrant 2 solution, right, you would have to find it in order to check whether it's valid or not. So you would say 180 minus this, just the answer on the calculator, the answer button, and you get this answer, 124.64. Right, now if you add the angle that you have already to that, you get 176.64, which is less than 180. All right, which means that there is still space for the third angle, even though it would be a very small angle, it would be 3 point something. All right, 3.36, I think. But that doesn't matter, that could still be an angle there. All right, so that is why you have to state the second answer there for this one. Yes, Talia?
When you solve for sine x and you get, can you not just like 0.82?
Yes, you can. I just wrote it like that to remind you that you must use the answer on the calculator. Yes.
And will you get a mark for that?
For this line, no.
Oh.
I don't think so, no. Okay, guys, are we understanding why we had to state the second option? Yes? You have to also say that it's x as well. No. No, I just wrote it here. This is just like a little explanation as to why you had to add it in this case. All right, but if this was like 60 degrees, so if I added the 124.64 plus 60, and it was more than 180, then we know that the second solution would not be valid, so we wouldn't write that down. But guys, you can write it down and then draw a line through the equal symbol and say invalid. So that will actually force you to remember to check for that one. Okay, but are we understanding that concept of the second solution? Okay, let's look at 4, 5, and 6. Number 4. You also had to find angle B first. This is the one that we spoke about yesterday. So in order to use sine rule, you need the opposite angle to the side. So we need that angle. So you just do 180 minus these ones, and you would get 30 degrees. So x over sine of 30 is 163 over sine 108. You multiply by sine 30, and then you get your answer. All right, number 5. This was one where you had to find an angle, but the second solution was actually not valid in this case. So just quickly to go over this again, you would say sine x over 15 is equal to sine 100 over 80, sorry. There we go. You multiply the 15 on the other side and you get this. You find your reference angle, which was 55,15. So that is an answer for x. Then your second answer for x would be 180 minus this, all right, which you can just do on the calculator, which was 124.85. But we already have a 100-degree angle in that triangle, right? And if I add these two angles together, I get 224, which we can't possibly have in a triangle, all right? It's bigger than 180. So that is why for this example, this question, the second solution was not valid. Okay, so you don't even have to write anything there, or it would have been okay if you said x equals 124.85, right? If you actually calculate it, then you check it, then you see, okay, if I add it to 100, it doesn't work, it's too big, then you can draw a line through that and just say invalid underneath. Okay, you won't get a mark for doing that, but it might be a good way just to kind of force yourself to remember. Okay, number 6. So this was the one where you had to find A using sine rule first. All right, so sine of A over 65 is sine 67 over 80. you get your value for sine, you get your reference angle, and in this case, the second solution also was not valid, because if you add 67 to your possible second solution there, you get 198.59, which again is bigger than 180. So it can't be an angle in that triangle. So you only have one solution for A, so that means that you will only have one solution for B. Guys, if the second solution for A was valid, you would have two solutions for X. Okay, two possible. So you would then have to sub both of them in to get your X value. Right, how are we feeling about sine rule? Fine. Okay, we're going to do cosine rule today. I was going to do the proof, but then I changed my mind. All right, we're going to start cosine rule. Again, it's just a rule that we need to practice using. You have to prove that one as well, though. So we are going to do the proofs at some point. And then we're going to do the third one as well. You can just copy that down, please. That is the cosine rule. Again, it's a rule that you can use in a triangle that is not a right angle triangle as a way of finding sides or angles. Right, guys, with sine rule, we always had, if we were finding a side, we needed to have the opposite angle to that side and then another pair of an opposite side and angle. All right, in order to use cosine rule, we need other information or different sets of information rather. So you can see the first, these are just three different ways of writing the same formula. Okay, it is the same rule, just written when we're finding this side, and then when we're finding that side, when we're finding that side. Okay, but it's the same rule. So for the first one, if we are finding this side, which is BC, all right, but the way that it's written in the textbook and on the formula sheet, they always say that the side opposite angle A is lowercase a. All right, but you can also work with BC if you want to. It's fine, it's the same side. All right, so if you're finding this side, it's always a squared though, all right, similar to Pythagoras. We start with squared, then we're going to have to square root in our last step. So this side squared is equal to the sum of the other two sides squared, all right, similar to Pythagoras. But of course, this is not a 90-degree triangle, a right angle triangle, so we can't stop there. Then we must minus 2 times the product of the other two sides. And that product we then multiply by cos of the angle that is opposite to the side that we're finding. Or it's the included angle between the other two sides. All right, Nicholas? Yeah, we're going to do the proof so you can see where it comes from, but I don't know how someone would figure this out. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so that was the sine rule, but it is similar, yeah. Yes. So I know how maths was invented. The first people on the earth, I suppose. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to this. Nina, you can do some research there and then you can come tell us. All right, thank you. Can we focus, please? Thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, so now if you are finding this side, AC, which is small b, lowercase b, then you take this, for this side squared, you take the squares of the other two sides, you add them together, minus 2 times the product of the other two sides times cos of the included angle, the angle that's between those two sides. All right, same thing here. If you want to find small c, this side, c squared is equal to those two squares added together, or squares added together, minus 2 times the product of those two sides times cos of the included angle. All right, so this rule is a rule that you can use to find a side when you have the other two sides and the angle that's opposite the side that you're wanting. All right, or if you have the other two sides and the included angle. So let's write that here. To find a side Okay, we are going to talk about how you can use this rule to find an angle, but we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, we're just going to do an example quickly of finding a side when we have the other two sides and the included angle. So that is example 1 here at the bottom. All right, please copy that down. And then we're just going to practice using the cosine rule, the cos rule for that triangle. Okay, guys, looking at this triangle, do we see that we're finding, what is that, AC, all right, the side that they've labeled as X, and we have the other two sides, we have the included angle. Would we have been able to use sine rule in this case to find X? We only have one angle, right? So we have the angle that's opposite to X, all right, but then we don't have another pair of a side and an opposite angle. Right, because in TESOL exams and in later exercises, we're not going to tell you which rule to use. Okay, you're going to have to look at the information that they gave you, and you must identify whether you can use sine rule or cos rule. Okay, so we're going to say x squared is equal to 47 squared plus 55 squared minus 2 times the product of these two sides, so minus 2 times 47 times 55, but then we still multiply that product by cos of the included angle, so cos of 48. Right, then you'll type that into your calculators. All right, and you get that value. Now remember, guys, that is not x, that's x squared. Okay, so this again is a step that you don't have to write down. It's the first example, so I will write it down this time, but this is one that you can leave out. So it's 594, blah, blah, blah. You'll obviously just keep that value in your calculator. And then if we have x squared, we want x, we're going to have to square root, hey? So square root, answer button, and you get your answer, which is 42.13. Okay, if we're rounding to 2 decimals, 42.13 centimeters. Yeah. You must press the answer button, yeah. Okay, that's not too bad, right? Let's see if I can give you a few of these just to practice. Let me just check the. Otherwise, we'll do the angle one. Yes. No, you don't have to. Okay, guys, I want you to do 3 questions from the textbook. So it's exercise, and then maybe just leave, like, you can see it's going to be kind of this size that we're going to do tomorrow. So maybe you want to leave like the rest of that page open. You're like, yeah, we'll probably, yeah, it will be like half a page, I suppose. Otherwise, you can just start new tomorrow. It's fine. Yes, yeah, I'll put it up now. So exercise 3, page 218, and I want you guys to do numbers 1, 2, and 6. Okay, and they are just questions that you are finding the side using cosine rule. Just practice that. If you want to just copy down the diagram for example 2 for tomorrow, it is there. And you will need a little bit more space than this. It's going to be maybe like 6 lines or so. And then you can do those. And guys, you have 8 minutes left. You could very well finish those 3 questions in 8 minutes. So let's get going on that. Then you don't have to do anything at home. Lots of people need it. Okay, well, 6 is on a different page, so I can only put 1 and 2 up. Sorry. Just kidding. Just giving everyone a chance to copy that down for those of you that are doing that. Okay, then you can do 1 and 2, guys. 6 is just on the next page. So if you need it, you can come take a picture here.